Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday morning's devotional. My name is Fiona, and before I start, I have two apologies to make this morning. My first apology is that I completely read the email wrongly, and I'm only going to be looking at Ephesians 5 verses 22 to 24. I'm supposed to be looking at the whole of chapter 5, so please do go ahead and read that with the rest of your day, ready for Heather with chapter 6 tomorrow. So that's my first apology. My second apology was actually a planned apology, and that is to say I apologise this morning for talking mainly to married women. However, married men, listen up, because I have got something to say to you. And if you aren't married, then please don't tune out, because you just don't know what God plans for you. One of the loveliest weddings I've ever been to was an amazing lady in our church called Margaret Jackson, and she must have been at least 105 before I saw her skip down the aisle. But if you are blissfully content being single today, then please listen, because you may well be called upon to speak wisdom into someone else's marriage and potentially save lives. So, Ephesians 5 then, verse 22. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord. For a husband has authority over his wife, just as Christ has authority over the church. And Christ is himself the Saviour of the church, his body. And so wives must submit completely to their husbands, just as the church submits itself to Christ. Now, ladies, if you are instantly thinking, well, hang on there a minute, Fee, why would I submit to my husband? I'm just as well qualified as he is. I earn just as much, if not more than he does. I write all the Christmas cards, and I'm certain I've never seen him take the bins out in all the years of being married. I hear you. I totally understand this is a really difficult word to comprehend. Now, I don't know about you, but I do find it easy to understand the notion of submitting to God. I may not always do it, but I am completely comfortable with the concept of allowing the Almighty Creator to have sovereignty over my decisions. I try to pray about every decision, and that I'm totally okay with that. But submitting to another human being, that's more difficult to digest. So I had to go right back and look at how the word submit was derived. So the original word is hypertasomai, and it appeared in the ancient letter to the church in Ephesus. The more accurate translation of the word, I don't know if you know this, is actually to deploy. So we could retranslate that as wives, deploy yourself in the support of your husband. Wives, arrange yourselves for battle for your husbands. Deploy yourselves in support of your husband against the enemy. Well, this I can understand. I can stand by my man. Oh yeah, I can say what I like about my husband, but woe betide anyone else who takes a pop at him. But if we see the word submit as the word deploy or even support, there's still an element of choice involved. These are all action verbs. They all require strength and a conscious decision. So wives, in the same way we choose to submit to Christ, we're told in Ephesians to submit to our husbands. It's a choice, and it takes strength to make that choice. Now, if we go back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, God says, "It is no good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him." Now, ladies, it says helper, not dog's body, not doormat, and certainly not maid. Now, we all know that men need quite a lot of help. But what does this help look like practically? Well, helping is supporting. Helping your husband have the confidence to know he's doing a really good job in providing for you and the family. Helping means giving him support to empower him to have the self-respect he needs to fulfill his role in the home. Helping is offering your opinion. Your husband welcomes your opinion. Your husband really needs your opinion. The home is definitely not a place to be silent. Now, for husbands, more will be said about that tomorrow, except it won't because I haven't planned it. But women who practice biblical submission are women with strength of character. It's easy for wives to shout and to dominate, but it takes strength to calmly respect and support. And it's up to you, husbands, to listen and hear your wives' ideas. They will probably be different from yours, and that is completely right, because your wife has been ordained by God to be your helper and supporter. Her opinions are invaluable to you. Now, in marriage, there are big, medium, and small issues to solve all day, every day. Therefore, a wife who submits and supports creates a harmonious environment in which to discuss these things. Big questions such as maybe when to have children or when to move home require a lot of prayer and discussion. Medium issues such as where to go on holiday or how much to spend on Christmas might also cause some discussion and may require prayer and compromise. It's easier to do it in a harmonious atmosphere. But what about the small things, like what are we going to have for dinner, or who has possession of the remote control? Well, these things come down to love and respect, and sometimes just picking your battles and looking at the bigger picture. Sometimes you might just want to bless your spouse by doing something nice. Now, respect, as I've said, is key to submitting and supporting. Now, I know that after 23 years of marriage, I am never going to get my Mike to take his random cornflake bowls through to the kitchen. He doesn't mean particularly to annoy me. He just works very hard, often late at night, eats cornflakes, and is too preoccupied to walk his bowl through to the kitchen. My children don't do the same, so for me, it's not really a fight worth having every day. But when it comes to clothes on the bathroom floor, that's another issue, because this is a matter of respect for me. And it's really important to me that all members of my household understand the function of the laundry basket. But I've found over the years, I kind of got to the stage where I do enjoy supporting my husband. I like to iron his shirt, and I like to pack his lunch, and I like to have a meal on the table when he gets home, because it makes his life easier, and actually it makes the home a more peaceful place. In the same way, I really like it when Mike puts petrol in my car and does all the late night taxi runs so I can go to bed early. But we were going to hear about something about that tomorrow, but we're probably not. You're going to read that yourself. So on a final note, I think it's important to mention that the Bible never, ever advocates submitting to a man who is violent or abusive. Submission has no place in a situation of domestic abuse. And if you or anyone you know is in this situation, you need to seek help immediately for them or for yourself. So to conclude then, submission is a contentious word, but if we see it alongside words such as supporter, helper, or deployer, we can see that in a respectful marriage, it is possible for wives to be both thoroughly modern women and choose to follow biblical principles outlined in Ephesians. Thank you.